Well, in a move that everybody saw coming, man, the Detroit Lions are going to be without Brian Branch for their game against a huge game, man, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. And guess what else? Branch is going to miss the first time that we are going to wear the Motor City Muscle helmets this particular year. You guys can see here as I switch camera, we'll be wearing these helmets on Monday night against the Buccaneers. We always do it during a home game. And now Brian Branch is going to miss that because his suspension is going to be upheld. This is coming from the Twitter account of NFL Football Info. Michael Signora says, hearing Officer Jordy Nelson, yes, that Jordy Nelson, former Green Bay Packer, which is an unfortunate circumstance of events that I'm sure had no bearing in the decision made, jointly appointed by the NFL and the NFLPA, has upheld the one-game suspension for Detroit defensive back Brian Branch. And that is going to be the way that is going to be. Now, I knew, and by the way, today is October 15th. I forgot to change the date. I knew that this was going to be a upheld suspension. And I'm not sure if a couple of y'all got irritated at my video yesterday when I broke down the situation with Brian Branch. And if you did, then I don't know what to tell you. Dan Campbell said today on 97.1 The Ticket that he talked to Brian Branch. Brian Branch is going to learn from it while they were waiting for the decision to be made from the suspension, and that it will not happen again. And we brought in a clip of Brian Branch saying that it was childish and things like that. Now, I did see a clip of a podcast today because, everyone has a podcast, and it was a former NFL player that said Juju Smith-Schuster had it coming. He had it coming. He likes to take little digs at you during the game. It's more than just trying to get in your head. He likes to do soft stuff, and then he'll run to the refs and complain. And if you look, actually the whole Kansas City Chiefs team is soft. That's what they do. But Travis Kelce got hit and flopped. He's like, and then they all do the same thing. So not that it was okay, because it was not okay. And then the same podcast also made a great note, said, if you wanted to it was Debo Harrison. Debo Harrison, former Pittsburgh Steeler, will have the entire league suspended. You smack him, you getting smacked, period. Point blank, period. It don't matter. Between the whistles, after, you going to get smacked. Right then and there, it ain't no talking about it. They mentioned you should have just lit him up on the field. In between, you get your get-back play in. It happens all the time, right? During the whistle, like during the play, go ahead and get the get-back in. So this is unfortunate for Brian Branch. And if you guys are not familiar, you knew it was going to happen, right? When you hear dialogue like this, there's no chance at winning an appeal. This came from Tom Pelissero the day after the game, which was Monday. Said NFL Vice President of Football Operations John Runyon wrote to Branch, there's no way you're winning with words like this. Your aggressive, non-football act was entirely unwarranted, posed a serious risk of injury, and clearly violated the standards of conduct and sportsmanship expected of NFL players. Your conduct reflected poorly on the NFL and has no place in our game. With these words being said, there was no way that Brian Branch was going to win that suspension. Now, I did see a clip, I don't know how true this was, that the plan was for Branch to show the NFL what led to that. What led to that sequence of events, all the stuff Juju Smith-Schuster was doing during the game. And I knew that wasn't going to be enough because, like I said, you can't get words like non-football act, entirely unwarranted, serious risk of injury, violated the standards. That's not going to win an appeal. So the Detroit Lions are going to be down, and now Dan Campbell knows what he has to do. He knows what he has to do. Lawrence Strickland was waived. It does appear like he cleared waiver, so he's no doubt going to come back. Somebody's going to be elevated to the practice squad, and we might not be done signing people before the game. We've had Trey Flowers walk off the street. We've had Arthur Millette walk off the street. We got, the most recent guy we brought in come off the street. So, and we still got a couple of days before the game. So I knew he was going to be suspended. Again, you cannot get words like that, and the suspension was going to be upheld. Now, do I think that the Green Bay Packer, former Jordy Nelson, Green Bay Packer, had anything to do with him and him being biased? No, I don't believe, but it's kind of a coincidence or a fitting that a former Packer gets to decide the fate of a current Detroit Lion. But again, you're not going to get phrases like this and be able to win that suspension. Not your aggressive non-football act was entirely unwarranted, posed a serious risk of injury, and clearly violated the standards of conduct and sportsmanship expected of NFL players. Your conduct reflected poorly on the NFL and has no place in our game. You know what this says? This is about the shield. And whether it's right or wrong, whether we agree with it or don't agree with it, the NFL is going to do everything possible to protect the shield. And Brian Branch, and what I like, Dan Campbell said today, the question was asked, like, do you think like this is going to continue? And he's like, nope. He said he was a good kid. He said he made a mistake. He made a mistake, and we've all made mistakes when we were younger. So I think Brian Branch, and like I said, if I'm the dudes from Alabama, if I'm J-Mo, especially if I'm Terrion, I'm like, yo, let's work out together. Let me show you how to get your get back. Let me show you how to get your get back. You get back on the play. You know what I mean? So, but I think Brian Branch tried to hold it in as long as possible. And I'm going to tell you what, if the Lions had won that game, I don't think that would have happened. I think the reaction from Brian Branch was compiled. You had the touchdown taken away. You had, the no cause. You had all that stuff. And then you lose the game. Then the crowd is into it. So his emotions got the better of him. It happens to all of us. It happens. Some of us make worse decisions than others in a situation like that. So again, the dude's frontal cortex is not even matured yet. It's not even fully developed. That's not an excuse, but he does have some growing to do. So the Detroit Lions are going to be without Brian Branch. The 1-game suspension is going to be withheld. I was hoping he just took it on the chin because he was wrong. He was wrong. Get your get back during the game. It sounds bad. But like I said in yesterday's video, how many people get to work with somebody? And by all means, I'm not advocating violence. I want to be very clear. But how many people get to hit somebody that they work with and it be okay? You going 15 miles an hour and you get to destroy somebody? I mean, that might be somebody's sick, twisted fantasy to get back at their boss or their coworker, right? So, I mean, handle it in the game and, mature from this B and become better, because at the end of the day, your team is going to be down. You messing with your money. You lost. I saw on a video that Brian Branch is going to lose almost $80,000 from missing this game. $80,000. We're going to need you out there. You're taking a core player from your team in a tight division, in a tight conference where we're taking the number 1 seed on. So you made a mistake. Learn from it. He's not the only one. It's not the first and last player for the Detroit Lions that's going to make a mistake. But Dan Campbell got faith in him the same way he had faith in Jameson Williams. He believes in him, said he was a good kid, and that he has learned, and it won't happen again. I believe that. I 100% believe that. And hopefully Brian Branch, maybe I need to eat. Brian Branch has learned something as well. Again, I'll remind you of a quote that Dan Campbell said during a press conference many, many years ago. Said it's only failure if you don't learn from it. So Brian Branch made a mistake. We all make mistakes, but did he learn from it? All right, and improve from there. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because you're a support I get to do what I do. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Don't go to work and hit nobody now unless you're playing football and it's part of your job.